Hi everyone, you're welcome back to Delight Fashion. So today we are cutting a princess dart bustier, and these are the measurements I'll be using for today's tutorial. For the purpose of this tutorial, I will use bust for 34, under bust of 28, then half length of 28. So I'll go ahead to my fabric now. I'll measure my half length from the shoulder. So I've marked out the shoulder line. I've marked out my bust line, my under bust, then my half length. My half length is 16 inches, then I added 1.5 as the allowance. So I'll move ahead to join the lines to make a straight line. So I'll go ahead and measure my chest line. It's 2 inches above my bust line, which is, you divide your bust divide by 4 minus 1 to get that, if you don't want to measure it this way. Okay, so the next thing to do is to measure your shoulder line. So go ahead and measure the shoulder. The shoulder is 15 divided by 2, it gives me 7.5. So I've measured out 7.5. So now I will trace that line from the shoulder to the chest line. Then I'll come in by half an inch at the armhole. I'll come in by half an inch. So I've moved the fabric above my shoulder line that I first measure. So I have to now readjust it to the normal neck, to the normal shoulder measurement, which is 7.5. So for my nipple to nipple is 7.5. So that I will make it 3.5. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I will use 4 inches. Why? Is because I'm sewing this fabric directly. But if I'm to use a pattern paper, I'm going to use 3.5. Then while cutting on the fabric, I will add half an inch to it. So on the bust line, I will mark 4 inches. Then under bust, I mark 3.5. And on my half length, I marked 3.5. So I've gone ahead to join the lines together. So for the under bust cut, I use 1.5. As me, I'm working on bust that is more than 34. Take for instance, if I'm sewing for somebody that uses 40 inches to 45 or 48, I can decide to use 2 inches or 2.5 for the under bust cut. So to get the nipple points, I've measured 3 inches from the under bust to get my nipple point. So I'll go ahead now and curve that point. See the way I am making the curve. So from the shoulder, I'll measure 4 inches downward. Then from that point, that 4 inches, I'll measure 1.5. Remember, I use 1.5 for the under bust cut. Okay, so I'll use 1.5 for that interval between that 4 inches to between 4 inches downward. Okay, so I am connecting the lines together now. I'm joining the line from the armhole to my bust line to bring that shape at the armhole. If you notice, if you notice a princess that dress or top, you see that shape at the armhole, that it's used to be very firm at the bust part. There is no excesses at the armhole. So to remove that excesses that we do have at the armhole, we remove that 1.5 to give it that shape, that on that side that. Do you understand? So we have to extend that part, the armhole, by 1.5, because by the time we cut out the actual pattern, it will be too small for the front part of this princess dart bustier. So we have to add 1.5 to the actual cut for it to be accurate with the other part, the other piece. Hope you understand it. The next thing to do now is to take our measurement on this fabric. So I've measured 8 inches for my bust. You know my bust is 34 divided by 4, it gives me 8. So I added 2 inches sewing allowance to it. So I did the same thing on this line. So this is my under bust. My under bust is 7 inches. That's 28 divided by 4. It gives me 7. Okay, and you remember we are going to remove that 1.5 cut at the under bust. Do you understand? So I'm going to add that 1.5, and I'm going to add extra 1 inch for joining the both sides together. Hope you understand. Then I'll add 2 inches as my normal sewing allowance. Do you understand? In this tutorial, I added 2 inches my actual allowance for sewing allowance. I added that 1.5 inch for, I returned that 1.5 that we are going to remove from the under bust and the half length. Hope you understand. So I'll go ahead and join the lines together. So for the neckline, I will use 4 inches by 3 inches. So I'll connect the lines together. So initially I forgot to remove 1 inch at the shoulder line to slant the shoulder. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm slanting my shoulder by 1 inch. So it is time to measure the back part of this um pattern of this princess that bustier. So that's my chest, my bust line, my under bust 14 inches, my half length 16 inches, then I added 1 inch as the as the allowance. Yes, sewing allowance. So at the other end there, that's where my zipper will be. So I measured 2 inches as my zipper allowance. So I'm done connecting the lines together. The next thing to do is to go ahead and take my measurements on those lines. That's my chest line. There I will measure my bust measurement, which is 8 inches. I'll add 2 inches to it. My under bust is 7 inches. 8.5, sorry. The bust is 8.5 plus 2. Then my under bust is 7 inches plus 2. And for the half length is 7 inches plus 2. So guys, how did I get the 7 inches? I divided 28 by 4 to get that 7 inches. For the purpose of this tutorial, the under bust measurement I used was 28. Then when divided by 4, it gives me 7. Do you understand? So for the back end of this back piece, I'm going to go up by 1.5. I explained this in my previous video that while cutting any fabric that involves you having half cuts, you have to remove either 1 inch or 1.5 from the back piece of that fabric or from that pattern, so that when you insert your zipper, there will be no gallop at the back end of that dress. Do you understand? If you notice, some people, after attaching the zip to their dress, and when their client or their customer wears that dress, there's this gallop that comes up at the back of the dress. To avoid this unnecessary folding of the zip at the back end, we need to remove some inches from that end of our pattern. I don't know if you understand what I am trying to explain here. So after doing that, I will join the lines together. Please, if you understand what I just explained, put it at the comment section that you understand. And if you do not understand, please indicate that you do not understand, so that I can make another video that will involve me giving a detailed explanation on that. But I hope you got it, please. So I came down by 1 inch at the shoulder to slant the shoulder. So guys, this is our back piece. So after removing the some inches from the back end at the zipper end, so there will be no folding of any kind after fixing our zipper to the back. Hope you understand. So guys, we've come to the end of the video. If you find it helpful, I want you to please hit on the subscribe button. Also turn on your notification bell so you get notified when next I post a new video. Thank you. Bye for now.